Hello world, welcome to our AI webinar. My name is Sagar Pandya, AI Evangelist here at Ntiva. And today we're going to talk about what it means to have AI within your organization. Today's agenda talks about a quick introduction on what it means to have AI within your company. We're going to talk about how to have an AI conversation with your team, creating guardrails and removing some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, some training and encouragement ideas, AI policy and safety, as well as some competitive advantages you can have as a company, and finally conclude to summarize what we've learned today. So, as of this recording right now, in April of 2024, there are a lot of conversations happening about AI within a multitude of industries from companies of all sizes. And it's truly my belief that AI is absolutely here to stay. And it's going to continue to grow in every aspect of every industry that we know today. In things like automating tasks, creating some more creativity, productivity, and output, AI has the ability to really augment not only our team's technical, operational, and execution capabilities, but also their judgment and intuition. It's really going to become a really good brainstorming partner for our teammates to be able to make even better decisions, be more accurate in the way that they execute on their day-to-day responsibilities, and allow them to elevate their skill sets at a much quicker pace. I believe it's important to have the AI discussion with our teams because it then generates confidence and trust within the organization that decisions are being made in conjunction with how the entire organization feels about this amazing technology. And you really have to, as an organization, explain the why. Most folks don't really understand the underlying technology, let alone why that technology is potentially being integrated into your organization. And let's be clear here, it's not really the technology that's the challenge for AI. It's really the culture. And the sooner we can get to a point where the culture accepts the changes and the adaptations that AI is going to bring, the better off we're going to be as an organization to continue to be competitively advantaged in 2024 and beyond. According to a Harvard Business Review article, as of the last couple of years, only 8% of organizations have the correct structure to even practice supporting AI in the first place. And AI is not just a plug and play solution. It's not just buying some software and implementing it into the organization and hoping for the best. It requires the removal of cultural and organizational barriers. There are going to be a lot of folks in your organizations that are not going to jump for joy when they hear about AI being integrated into the organization. And there's a multitude of reasons for that. Some might be simply because there's uncertainty around the usage. Some might be fear-based. Some might be resistant to change because they've been so accustomed to doing things for so many years. But it's our job as leaders to try and remove as many of those cultural and organizational barriers as possible. So implementing AI within our organizations today is not just a plug and play technology upgrade. It's really a shift of mindset. It's a shift in the culture, and it's a shift in the way that we think so that we can continue growing. And we may even change the way we do business altogether with the involvement of this amazing technology. Some of these conversations that I've heard other leaders have really need to start from the top down. And when we talk about AI within an organization, these have to happen internally. We have to have leadership on board and aligned with the messaging. And we talked earlier about the why around AI. And the sooner that leadership teams can develop the why for their organizations, and the sooner they can effectively communicate it, the quicker we're going to be able to remove those cultural and organizational barriers. This conversation has to come from leadership because let's face it, your teammates, your staff members, your employees, they're already using AI, whether you've communicated it internally or not. They've jumped into platforms like Microsoft Copilot. They may have jumped into ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, like you've heard about me say in other videos, and the list goes on and on. There's no shortage of generational and generative AI tools available today, but your employees and staff members and colleagues are already using it, whether you are aware of it or not. So we must do the best that we can to start cultivating an AI culture as a team sport. Now, you may have seen me talk about team sport in cybersecurity. AI is very similar. We have to treat this as a shared responsibility within the organization. And it's not simply a decision that the C suite has to make and then essentially expect everybody else to follow without much discussion around this topic. We have to allow collaboration across teams and remove as many silos as possible so that the true benefit of AI technology can allow our organization to thrive and to allow it to supplement the efforts of the people that work so hard for us day in and day out. We also have to create a safe space to ask questions. There's a lot of uncertainty, which we'll talk about here in the next few slides, but there's a lot of uncertainty around what AI really means. And from an industry perspective, AI seems to be now an umbrella term that not only includes true generative AI capabilities, but it also includes things like machine learning, automation, integration with other products, and the list goes on and on. So AI is now an umbrella term that encompasses a lot of ideas and technology. And if we, as leaders of our organizations, can create a safe space for employees and colleagues and staff members to ask questions, the quicker we're going to be able to collect feedback that's going to tell us if we're headed in the right direction or not. And this is not going to be just a set it and forget it type of conversation. It's not something we're going to do, once a year and just send out an email and tell everybody that we're now an AI generated organization. We have to really assign this role to somebody internally to champion the conversation, to collect the feedback, to collect forward progress capabilities, and to allow the organization to continue having this important conversation. So these have to begin now, whether it's internally from the CEO, a different C-suite person, somebody in management, or someone else that is going to take on this responsibility. The sooner we can talk about AI to our teams internally, the more benefit we're going to have from the technology into the future. After we have some of these conversations, your team, of course, is going to be excited to embrace this amazing new technology, right? They're going to have the ability to elevate their skill set, become more creative, maybe take away some of the mundane tasks that they have to be responsible for day in and day out, and honestly, just get a brainstorming support partner to be able to do great things for your organization. A key part of this, though, is going to be ensuring that we create guardrails and we remove as much fear, uncertainty, and doubt from the conversation as possible. And the way we do that is essentially first providing guidance on the proper usage of this technology. As we talked before, your staff, employees, teammates, and colleagues are most likely using some type of AI tool already in their daily responsibilities. And as leaders of our organizations, if we can set the proper guardrails and set the parameters for how those tools interact with our business data, interact potentially with our customers, and interact with each other internally within the organization, the better off we're going to be in creating an environment that actually encourages the use of this technology. Also, we need to be sure how we communicate these benefits across the organization as well. It's not just a set it and forget it strategy. We don't just create a one-paged email that we send to folks to help them understand and decipher and interpret what you mean, but we also have to talk about why AI in the organization is going to impact that specific employee's day-to-day responsibilities. And this is going to be crucial because the more we can communicate about this, the more we remove barriers, the more we create clarity around the topic, the more excited people are going to be in the organization and the more accepting they will be of using the tools that are presented to them. I think we also have to consider the way we build and structure our companies operationally today. If we have decision-making that comes from the top down, but we're expecting AI tools to jump in and help inform and influence those decisions, those staff members are still going to have to depend on a human to be able to make a decision on important topics. So it may make sense in some instances to even move some of that decision-making to the front lines, maybe moving some of that information over to employees in all levels of the organization so that they can actually take advantage of the AI tools and help elevate them to make better decisions for your organization so you can be more agile and become more competitively advantaged. But obviously, the most important thing about having AI within the organization is ensuring we still have a human in the loop mentality. We're not here fully to use AI only and then remove the need to have physical labor or human beings in the organization. We want to supplement the staff that we have today. We want to augment their capabilities for judgment and intuition and to make better decisions as an organization. So, continuing to communicate that human in the loop mentality, that AI is an important brainstorming partner, and it's going to allow our organization to achieve things we may not have been able to do prior to the usage of this great new technology. Once we have those conversations and you remove as much of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt within your organizations, it's also going to be really critical that if you set the guardrails, there has to be a level of training that's going to happen internally as well. And it doesn't have to be overly complicated. You don't have to spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on very expensive integrated AI tools that take your teammates and employees months and months to learn. You can make it very simple to use. You can remove barriers, remove all the bells and whistles, and just make it very simple for people to be able to access it. Our team here at Ntiva, we're always told, hey, let's go ahead and use AI for about 15 minutes a day from our CEO, Steven. And I really agree with what he has to say. Just 15 minutes a day is going to give you the confidence that AI tools can be a great supplement into the day-to-day activities that you are responsible for. And part of that is really this test and learn mentality. We can sit in a room in a conference table all day and spend hours trying to figure out what the best use case would be for AI within your organization. But at the end of the day, if you don't put it into the hands of the people that are actually going to use the technology and don't give them some of that autonomy to test and learn and provide feedback, that's going to cause some friction in adoption of this tool. So we want to be sure we have good test and learn mentality. You give people some capabilities and some ability to test and make decisions, try things out, and allow them to have some of that autonomy so that the actual usage of the tools can continue to grow. And the training doesn't have to be anything massively expensive. You don't have to bring in very sophisticated, AI models from very large companies. You can simply have either someone internally in the organization that's already kind of an AI champion, and you probably have a few. You could bring in another organization like Ntiva to give some of that training and that conversation, or you could find, somebody that's really excited about the technology itself to give just a pep talk to the organization so that they can at least get them started on some of the ways that they can use these amazing technologies. I know for a fact that the videos that we're going to be creating available on the Ntiva website are a great starting point that you can share internally within the organization to help people learn topics like Copilot, ChatGPT, how to use AI for different use cases within the organization, and allow you to then permeate that message so that people become more and more comfortable with the usage of that tool. And I think the biggest thing that we see organizations fail to do today is collecting the feedback often, right? Like I said before, it's not just a plug and play mentality. We have to then go and collect the feedback and give your teammates a safe space to submit the feedback, right? Some of it's going to be constructive criticism. There's going to be pushback, and you're going to have people that don't believe in the future of this technology. But collecting that information often and making decisions based on that data is going to ensure that the organization has the best capability to continue sustainable implementation of these tools, whether it's ChatGPT type platforms or if it's anything else more sophisticated that may plug into your existing technology stack. With AI, of course, there's always going to be a conversation around policy and safety. So when we have a conversation with AI, build the guardrails and remove the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and then give our teammates some of that training to make them AI evangelists themselves. There's also going to be a governance and a security mentality and responsibility for leadership to have to maintain within the organization. Very similar to cybersecurity standards, we have to paint the picture and build guardrails so that we have the most safety implemented within the organization as possible, especially with tools that you may not have the ability to fully monitor from a usage perspective. Doing the things that are going to help minimize any type of unintended outcome is going to be very beneficial for organizations into the future. So building out something like an AI acceptable use policy, or building some guardrails and saying where the AI tools can and cannot be used, what specific platforms are approved, and really creating a governance mentality around this to have, again, somebody responsible for the conversation, perhaps somebody else to be responsible for the safe implementation of these tools, and giving your teams the ability to report something that may not be functioning correctly. The last thing we want to do is have one of your teammates work with a client and use some type of AI generated information without any facts or sources checked that then gets submitted as a work product, only for the client to come back and question the capabilities and the output that your teams are delivering. So we have to have a solidly deployed AI acceptable use policy. We have to have well-documented guidelines and proper and improper use structures and frameworks. And of course, if there's a need for some legal oversight into this to reduce liability, depending on the industry that your organization operates, there's going to be a lot of work that has to be done to ensure that we can have AI safety within the organization as well. And this is going to help create alignment with all levels in the organization, from your interns all the way up to your C-suite. And that's going to allow you to then build out some very structured and documented AI procedures. It's going to limit your liability and your exposure from a risk perspective. And it's going to give the employees of your organizations the ability to confidently use the tools without any fear, without any uncertainty, and without any doubt that the tool is actually going to help supplement them. And of course, we're in a world right now, 2024, as of this recording, where AI is a very hot topic on the minds of many individuals and organizations. And because of that, I truly believe being an AI focused and embracing organization is going to be a very large competitive advantage, regardless of what industry you are in. As we talked earlier in this presentation, AI is impacting every industry today, tomorrow, and well into the future. And the leaders and the new staff members and teammates that you bring into your organization tomorrow, they're all going to be very tech savvy. They're all going to be very AI conditioned. They're going to have certain expectations as they come into your organizations, because they truly believe they can do their best work with the supplement of those tools. And if you don't have that capability, or if you're a very non-traditional organization that may not rely on technology as possible, that doesn't embrace AI as much, you may not be as competitively advantaged to tap into the talent pool these days. So using AI could even become a talent strategy, not only for acquiring new talent, but also for talent, reducing talent attrition and keeping talent excited about staying within the organization. So it's going to be a great way to build out teams that have capabilities that can use AI to deliver some really great output for you. But we also have to be mindful of staying competitive from a hiring perspective. We have to be competitive in the marketplace as well, because you may not know it, but your competitors in your industry of all sizes are already embracing AI, and they're figuring out how they can use this amazing new technology for you to be able to get really to the next stage of growth in your business. And all of these things we've talked about today, implementing AI, proper safeguard and usage, ensuring we have the right training, ensuring we have the right documentation and the alignment within your organization, that's really going to give your companies the ability to continue growing, adding to your bottom line, and really positioning yourself for that next chapter in your organization's growth well into the future. So I hope this quick introduction into AI for your organization was helpful. I think having the conversations internally, just from a basic standpoint, even if it's 5 minutes to talk about ChatGPT, or maybe sharing one of the great Ntiva videos we have in our library to get the excitement going, or having some type of other champion internally within your companies reach out and build a good strategy, I believe it's going to be a massively competitive advantage for you, and to be able to continue building on your practice of growing your business and retaining the best talent, and obviously making sure that you can stay in business for a long, long time into the future. Once again, Sagar Pandya, AI Evangelist here at Ntiva. Stay safe out there.